All right, I'll call the meeting to order. The Lodging Tax Advisory Board. Today's Thursday, December 5th. We have a regular meeting followed by a work session. Can we do a roll call, please, ma'am?
Amanda? Here. Ashley?
Here.
Chris?
Here.
Joe?
Here.
Jason? Ask.
Yeah, but he should be coming in. We'll make a note when he does. So I have given everyone a copy of the agenda, except I didn't give one to you.
I have one, it's okay.
great.
I'm prepared.
If you guys, have you taken a look over it? Any changes? I did put new business before old business. I thought Krista was coming in.
She is on her way. She was confused. She thought it was at the Space to Create, the Commons, and so she should be here any second.
Okay. All right, so we might have to do those items out of order, but that's okay. Any changes to the agenda?
Looks good to me.
All right. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve today's agenda.
Second. All right, all in favor of approval of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Next is approval of the minutes. I did print those out as well from the last time. I was not here, but everything looked good to me. Any amendments to the minutes?
Nope.
All right, I just need a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. All right, that's not good. This is- All right, next is new business. Krista from Main Street Board is gonna come see us.
She's walking in right
Ah,
now, so
look,
she
there
said.
she is. Let's give her a minute to,
Yeah, hang tight and I can catch up on.
yes.
On typing.
Yeah. Trying to get logged in.
Fast fingers.
Are these for us?
I don't think so. They were here when I got here.
Kind of relevant, just because TPL is who stepped in to help get our lodging tax increase.
They did a good job too.
Looks like they give to council.
Well, they did, but that was, a lot of that was our citizens committee. But they helped us quite a bit.
I hear her. Congrats on your new location.
Thank you.
Yes.
Exciting.
Yeah, we're very
Yes,
excited.
it looks great.
Yeah, we've
I
been
saw the post on Facebook.
getting settled in. It's nice to have the extra space for sure.
I can't wait to check it out.
Come on by.
I will.
anytime.
You know
Sorry, I
that.
was
Did
in the wrong
you
place.
run?
I did. And I'm like, my asthma in the wind is
What'd
terrible. So I sound really awful coming up the stairs.
Oh, we're ready for you when you're ready.
You look
Yeah.
great.
Only some of these.
She's great.
Oh, we
So
got-
much.
She bops around.
It's because I never stop. Hi.
Hey, Kristen.
Hello. Catch your breath, girl. It's okay.
Can't breathe in this air anyway, and then the wind, you're like, oh. We're talking about Main Street budget, yeah?
Yes.
So, as soon as I get my oxygen, I did already talk to the council about some of this, so they're aware. We started the conversation back in May for what Main Street needed for accreditation, because that's our goal. That's our big umbrella that we work under everything. And our last pieces were Veronica's position. Once Margie was no longer there, having a staffer.
Sorry to interrupt you. I
Yes,
just want to
ma'am.
make note that Jason Dicker has arrived.
Yes. I also didn't introduce properly.
Did
I
you
was in a
run
hurry.
too?
Huh?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was in the wrong space, and then, hi, I'm Krista Franks. Hi, everybody. How are you? Thank you for your time today. Let me start officially. So I'm here today because we were discussing Main Street budget things. We are an affiliate Main Street chapter designation, trying to become an accredited one for the simple reason of having access to national funds. It's really the big reason. There also comes training, the bragging rights, that type of thing. We lost our accreditation 8 years ago now. It's been 8 years ago now. We'd like to have that back, so we have access to national grants. That's really what's stopping us. So the 3 things we were missing as of May was our director, which is Veronica's position, a website, which we have done, and our budget. And there's no limit on what our budget can be, how small, how big. What we're trying to prove is that we are sustainable as a board and therefore worthy of access to other funds. When I spoke to council about this in May, they were aware of the line item, what it should be, what we needed, and this is our last piece to accreditation. We have everything else. which is really a big deal to get us back to that level of conversation. We're invited to a few more conferences than we currently are, things like that. So we met for the national conference in May last year. Nope, this year still. In Alabama, and it was this huge life-changing thing. If I can bore you with the details, but to be around thousands of people that run main streets all over the country was this huge moment to figure, it's not just what we do in Trinidad, right? It's a much bigger deal. Main Street, its 4 pillars include the conversation around economic development, which is tricky sometimes in Trinidad, who leads those conversations. We're about preservation. We really, I tell everyone, we're crosswalks and signage. That's what we are. How do we make our downtown make more sense for people that are in it all the time and people that visit? I think a Welcome to Trinidad arch is a beautiful thing to have someday, because this is not just the entrance to Trinidad, it's the entrance to Colorado. Our Main Street exit is really important. And as much as I love cannabis and Sonic, I'd like it to be more than that, So we're looking at making that exit something that when college students come to see our college, it makes sense. It makes sense to the parents, it makes sense to the students, that's the wrong word, students. Wayfinding signage, better crosswalks. We need lights on some of our crosswalks downtown. The one right at Mutiny, Simpsons Market's terrible. We are looking at maybe putting up, again, signage that's lit and kind of blinks on either side so it's very clear. I tend to yell at mini cars when I pass that crosswalk. Hey, it's a crosswalk! So we want to make it safer downtown, but I think we can also do a better job of communicating. Where do you park? Where are the museums? Where do you have fun? Where do you go have lunch? I think there's some things we can do better in our downtown, and right now our focus without a budget has been frustrating, to say the least, and really tenacious, and we come up against a lot of brick walls. Art Alley A is one of our big projects we're working on with the city currently. We have a $12,500 matching grant to give to the city. Once we get that established, we have a few more conversations to have on that. Do I wish I could fix every alley and every broke down building? And yeah, for sure. But I also need to adjust my ambitions with my resources, which can be tricky for me because I want to fix it all and do everything and Main Street be a part of all of it. But I think with accreditation, we gain that respect, not only from our city and our locals, but then the national organization as well, and the state organization. We're not even invited to the state conference because we're not accredited, we're only affiliate. So that's what we're asking for, is to be considered in some type of line item. The city knows it's their sort of promise to us to help us find that line item in some place so that we can reach that accreditation. And where we do that, I think then falls to your creativeness, your generosity. Again, the council knows that the advice will be coming from somewhere else, but that we are actively trying to get accredited.
Do you know how much that is?
What's that? The budget that we need?
Yeah.
There's not a set number. So working between $8,000 and $12,000 a year, we can do a lot of great things because we can take that and apply that to all of our other matching grants that we can't currently fulfill, which feels like such a waste of time for someone who did all the paperwork, and then we can't match some of that stuff. So again, a little bit of a circle we find ourselves in with budget talks, and I paid for our name badges because I thought we needed name badges at the conference. And those are the things I think we can do better at. I think we can be better organized. I think with a budget we also have accountability, which currently we don't fall on a radar. We don't have any money. There's nothing that keeps us safe in a lot of ways, but also I think it keeps us really stagnant. And that's where we find ourselves currently, is just how do we make anything happen and be really convincing that we can do good things when there's not a budget. We have to ask for every single thing. We're doing a window decorating contest. Can I have $800 for that? No? Okay, let's bake sale, great. So there's a few things that I think we can do better and be more organized, and certainly with printed material. Nobody knows what Main Street does. How do I tell people that? How do I show what we're doing? How do I show what our budget is, what we've done with it? How do we be transparent if there's nothing to be transparent with? So I find us in a really interesting kind of rock and hard place. I don't know how to advance our board. I don't know how to do more without some goal and step. Do I think we would use $50,000? Absolutely. I'm not asking for that. I think that's ridiculous. We don't have that in this city, but at somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000 would get us to a place where we could go to conferences and not have to ask the city for that money. We already have it. Training. Again, we have a huge conference coming in March. Huge might be the wrong word. We have a very important conference coming in March. The Colorado State Farmers Market Conference is being held here, March 7th through the 9th. Being on the Farmers Market Board, we worked really hard for that. how do we represent Trinidad and Main Street while it's on Main Street? How do we do those things? I just feel like we're a kind of, not a house of cards, that's the wrong word, but we're very intricately balanced here. If Main Street's strong, the creative district is strong, then we have, you know, things like the farmers market conference, those types of things that can all work together in a way I think that matters. Any other, you get questions? Because I feel like I missed a lot of stuff.
Like a wish list with priorities?
With no budget, we have not put together those numbers, but we certainly have goals in our binders that we have. The Welcome to Trinidad Arch, that's a big old goal. That's a much later in life thing. But I think if we can begin to make those conversations about what does it say when we come into Trinidad? Does it say that we have a state college? Does it say that we're proud of our state parks? Does it say that there's a museum down the road, or there's a park, or there's a place for the kids to get out? Not really. If we can start with those things, improve our crosswalks, improve our wayfare signage. We physically had to go get the P that's hanging on Animus and Main. Physically had to go find it and was like, but I understand that we all, locals understand where to park, but do our guests know?
I'm not even sure locals do either.
Correct. We have recommended some really fun things, like bringing back our, what do they call, where you tie up your horse? What was that called?
Hitching post?
Thank you, hitching post. Bring those back as bike racks. Then we're taking the history and we're taking the future and we're bringing them together in a way that people could then bring their bikes downtown, build that culture. You want to bring your bike to my restaurant? I'll give you 10% off. I don't have to think about parking. But if we can't do that, if there's not a safe place for them to keep their bikes, we are a town that has that culture and it feels like it gets a little lost, much like our college sometimes in the conversation. It's all a part of Trinidad. Let's keep it all a part of it. It shouldn't be lines drawn. Well, you can have bikes out here. No, let's have them downtown. Let's have that culture. That helps everybody. So it's little things like bike racks, crosswalks, wayfare signage that feels a lot more attainable than a Welcome to Trinidad Arch this year, you know, since it's December already. So those are our lists. And then working toward the accreditation details, which is really just filling out a bunch of paperwork. That's mostly Veronica. But but proving to the state and to the Department of Local Affairs, which is our big brother in everything that we do, that we are responsible enough and the city believes in us enough to give us a little budget to get us to the next level. I fear if we aren't good stewards with what we have, we may not get them anymore.
I'd love a list of priorities.
Sure.
And then just out of curiosity, from the event that you went to in Alabama, was there anything that you went, that?
Yeah, that was a list.
We could do that. That makes perfect sense for
Trying to give an example, right? We should have brought, I have notes and everything, but I think the things I think that we're missing, and missing might be the wrong word, but I think we can do better in, is finding our identity sometimes as a town. Are we in our town? Fantastic. How are we representing that? What's the proof of that? Are we a tourism town? Where's the proof of that? Who are we? Who is Trinidad for? And I think sometimes those questions, and that's listening to these incredible speakers. They had poet laureates, but they were talking about, what's the town? Is it Leadville? They took the one thing they were really good at, which was snow, and they made a whole sport out of it that brings 1 million people a year through. The horses pulling the skis, I know there's a word for that. What is it, Trinidad, that we don't have to fabricate? We have so much. We have history, we have art, we have these beautiful mountains. Like, there's so many things that we already have in our hands. If we can be creative enough to say, okay, we're going with the art town, then there should be art up and down this main street that represents that. I'm not saying on the buildings, I know that's a touchy subject, but I also think that we can do something like Grand Junction has done. Art on the Corner is their Main Street program. So all the old fountains that don't work anymore because they take up too much water, they planted flowers in, put sculptures in. Those are things we can do. We have the artists in our community, but without an ability to put out an RFP or to advertise those things or to have some sort of printed material in our welcome center, even just Space to Create, since that's where we meet, I feel like we're kind of this silent board that just doesn't get a whole lot of traction. I'm not saying we're the only board to do it, but we are a board that, one, has represented in our bylaws that nothing we do can benefit our members, which I think is really important to talk about, and how we change the expectations of boards around us. And two, we want to collaborate with the Creative District, with the Historic Society. We want to bring those pieces together because the 8 of us are not going to be able to change the world, certainly not change our whole town. It really does take all the volunteers. This is a volunteer-run city. The sustainability of that is keeping each other encouraged and not overloading everybody, passing around some of that work. And you all know as well as I do, that's very tricky. Egos can get involved and how whose project is the most important. If our boats are all moving in the same direction, there's nothing Trinidad can't do. We freaking make it happen with very little. And so Main Street to me feels like the example of that, the administration of that, to say, okay, these are the pieces you want to put together, this is our final goal, how do we do that? So that's what I learned from the national conference was, you don't have to make a bunch of new stuff. You probably have what you need in your town. And when I look at Trinidad through the lens of, well, we need this to make it work, I don't know if we need to make those things. I think we have good people and good places, good shops, good sports. I think we have those things. It's how we present them and talk about them, I think, that makes a difference.
I just want to add to, sorry, that,
Yeah.
to your question about the priorities. It's not that Main Street would use whatever is allocated or suggested allocated. It's actually just that
That
we
we can
need
show
to
we have.
show that the city has
Has
buy-in.
committed to it.
Yes,
Okay.
and then that opens these huge, like floodgates.
Huge doors on
to-
other
To
things.
fundings that would
So
actually
what is the
help the
proof of
city.
that? We just.
The proof is line item budget,
Mhm.
Okay.
my position, and,
Our
it's on
website, those are our
dedicated
last
website,
three.
which we just got done
2
last
days
week,
ago?
2
Yeah,
days
2 days
ago.
ago? What day is it? Yeah, Thursday.
Curiosity question,
Yes, sir.
is Raton,
It is.
They are,
Mhm.
and La Junta as well.
are they
Um,
the same?
they are
levels?
accredited. They're
They're
above
accredited.
us, which is just a sore pill to swallow. But I also think that how far we've come in our Main Street board in the last 2 years, 3 years, going through formal training, going through strategic planning, which I know that word hurts because we say it a lot. It showed us what our passions and goals were and then how to bring those into fruition. And we have an entire marketing campaign that we can launch. We have all of these things that have been given to us that because we can't advertise on Facebook, there is no money to do that. We can't get these pieces to the places that we need to go. I pay for the email list to make sure that the downtown vendors know when there's going to be a conference at Space to Create. Those things are unacceptable for volunteers. There should be some type of money somewhere, tiny amounts, that say, we understand what this small seed can do when it comes to Main Street and the funds that we have available. We have this grant, this matching grant for our LEA, and the reason I brought that up is because if we don't do something with that, I would be remiss to ask DOLA for anything else. And they've basically said, not basically, they've said bluntly, screw it up and you'll never get another one. And that's what we're trying so hard to really take good care of.
Is there a deadline for when, if we decide to take action?
No, it's really within, I would like to get it done by springtime so that we can be part of the conversation for national conference then in 2025. But it is just a matter of when we find the right space, the right line basically for us, and then move into that accreditation and have a whole list of other things that then we want to try to accomplish as more than a third.
Timeline, usually DOLA reps come out in January to meet with the Now Me, and then we do a self-assessment and
Nice.
all of that paperwork, but that is the only thing that is missing for us to move forward at this point.
Krista, was this Main Street previously funded by the city?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
And
Would they continue to fund
No,
it?
they completely cut it a year and a half ago.
Okay.
We were running at $65,000 a year and doing pretty decently with that. That was when the Green Rush was going great, and so things have changed for every single board. To go from 65 to nothing was just this, I felt like our legs got knocked out from underneath us and all of our goals had to be scratched and sort of started over. We lost members who felt like they had worked really hard for many years and then didn't get anywhere, which is kind of a common ailment among volunteers sometimes in our town. Again, how do we sustain that? I promised the city council when I came on as chair that I would find a way to not ask the city for money with the Main Street. There's no reason we have to until we show that we have a budget. I said I want to wean us off of that entire process and get to where we're fully sustainable. And I think some of that has to do with Space to Create. I think that has to do with how we use that building. The revenue that we're currently not making on that building could help contribute to Main Street and to create a district at some point. But that's not happening today.
Any other questions?
I can send over our list of goals, what we would try to get accomplished. I'm happy to email it to whoever I need to. Is that Marty, Brian?
Yeah, then I can send.
And then you can send it over and just see what things that we scratched off. I'll send a couple of years of our goals and the things that we kind of had to let fall away because we just couldn't do that. We want our big goal for us has always been to make downtown Trinidad the holiday mecca. I think we're missing huge opportunities with just one parade. Not that we need more parades, but I think we could have a holiday market. I think we could have carolers and wassail in a downtown. There's nothing north of, there's nothing really south of Pueblo that really brings people in for the holidays. La Junta would come, Walsenburg would come, Levita would come. If we had carolers down dressed in period clothing, if we got grants for vintage holiday decor, which we were, again, that's a matching grant, so we couldn't take those, and make our downtown the holiday place to come. That helps our small businesses. Anybody can shop. Our restaurants come and spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday with us. We've tried it in other ways, but the holidays feel like a place that's already been sort of set up for that. So how do we get to that point? How do we make this? We start in April. That's how we do it. You know, we start planning and getting those things. The colleges volunteered to help us hang all of that decor. Like the pieces are there, but I can't match grants for holiday decor if I don't have a budget at all. So those are the things that the pieces of finding easier ways to move downtown and making a holiday place that benefits everybody downtown is our two big pieces that we talk about pretty often. Great. Anybody? Anything else? I appreciate y'all so much.
Thanks for coming.
Do you need me, or is it okay if I leave? Is that rude? Is that appropriate?
no.
Okay, I was like, I don't really know.
It's very,
First courtesy.
it hurts our feelings.
I think it's like that. But I was like, I haven't done it in a minute. So thank you all for your time again. I'll send that. I can have a few minutes this afternoon, and I'll send it over to Veronica because there's some things that we're trying to get accomplished, so it's really clear what we're asking for. Cool?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. The next thing I have is the Arts and Culture Advisory Commission 2025 budget. So I received an email from Miss Cheryl about this. She asked that I add it to our budget. If you take a look on the budget page that I sent you, I did put it under Arts and Cultural Events, Programs, and Facilities. So this, let me just go, Arts and Culture Advisory Commission 2025 budget, they're asking for $11,000. $3,000 would go to legacy project acquisitions, $2,000 to revision and printing of public art tour brochure, $6,000 would be funding for an RFP for additional wildlife art pieces / whimsical art pieces, or whimsical seating project, sorry. It was a little, the spacing was weird. And then, 11,000 total, that's it. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is that line item. But on to old business, the budget revision is where we'll discuss these things. So, on the page that I gave you for the budget. So I have $800,000 at the top, but Cheryl spoke with me briefly before this meeting and told me that it's not going to be $800,000, it's going to be $740,000. They got a little less than what they were expecting this year, so that affected the budget number for next year. The 35% for sustainable tourism marketing comes out to $259,000. On the DIQ line, I changed that from $60,000 to $66,000 because the conversation we had with Brian, he said that they were increasing by $6,000 this year. Everything else on that item stayed the same except for the total at the bottom. Instead of $201,947, it's now $180,947.
Like, can we revisit that increase? I mean, I don't need to play hardball with DIQ, but we got this whole deal at the tail end there where they're like, you're saving $8,000 with our new social media person. So that more than makes up for that price increase.
I'm pretty sure the price increase was in the contract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like 10% increase.
yeah.
Is there a reason we didn't see that contract, the renewal?
I don't think we've actually done it yet.
Didn't she say it was automatic?
I don't know.
And I don't remember,
It didn't go to us.
yeah, at all.
We were supposed to have a work session with DIQ to like kind of go over the budget for next year. The renewal, I do believe, was automatic.
We also,
It's usually automatic unless you cancel.
yeah, right. I don't know if we ever fully discussed it as like an agenda item, but I think that we were all pretty much in agreement that we were gonna renew regardless.
Yeah,
I think we did talk about it during it. I don't know if it had like its own agenda item, but I remember discussing it.
well, we did discuss
that
it
we were gonna give
because,
them another year.
because they really didn't have a full, it was
1 year's not enough for
Yeah.
anybody to prove what
Yeah.
they can do.
Right,
Yeah.
And it would take 6 months to get someone else on board anyway, so.
yeah.
Just to go through some more changes, the personnel expenses from 160 down to 148, 148,000. Maintenance, improvement, and development of recreational facilities and programs. That one went from 240,000 down to 222,000. Under this item as well, Cheryl asked that we add a couple of lines. She said that to balance out the general fund, they would have to shift some funding to our account, and that was $110,000 for the outdoor rec coordinator salary and $35,000 for the horticulture program. So that goes along with the Santa Fe Trail Days 30 that we did. That leaves us $47,000 in that fund instead of $210,000.
It's the $110,000 Jared Chatterley.
I did not get that detail, but I would assume if that's his position, then yes.
That's not his position unless they're changing the
Oh,
coordinator.
well, then maybe they're
Right,
adding
because
another
he's-
one. I
I
don't know,
thought
do
they
you
were
know?
doing an outdoor director, or they're doing a recreation director or something.
What's the name of it?
Outdoor recreation coordinator.
That's not his position.
That's
Yeah,
not,
that's
okay.
he's the director.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So maybe it's another position they're adding on?
He hasn't been director, but I thought they were promoting.
No, he's the director of outdoor recreation.
He's always been director? Okay, that wasn't recent.
No.
The next line item, support of art and cultural events, programs, and facilities. That went from 80,000 down to 74,000. The Arts and Culture Advisory Commission budget, they're asking for 11,000. And on the Main Street Board budget, I kind of made up a number
Is that what you?
to hold a place. Yes, that's for
Yeah.
Chris's board.
Can we pause there? Because
Yeah.
I immediately thought that we could fit that under, well, I guess it's kind of different on these line items. Looking at the city ordinance itself, they have 30% as opposed to recreational facilities and programming. The ordinance itself says quality of life. And so, to me, that would have been a natural place to pull the Main Street Board budget. It's not strictly rec, but it is quality of life. But it sounds like we have no money left there.
There's 47,000 in there.
Yeah, that's extremely frustrating. I mean, that's a huge chunk of change that is going into this salary now. And Chatterley does not have the track record to justify that.
Agreed.
So,
I think we decided that probably wasn't him.
right, but it's gonna report to him, outdoor rec coordinator, so he's getting an underling. But his office has done very little. And that's
Are we
nothing we
sure
can really
that-
decide or affect right here, right now, but I probably will be going to a council meeting to talk about that.
I'd be willing to go there with you. I agree 100%.
Thanks. I mean, I think we can get a lot of people behind us in terms of
Yeah.
the city needs to look at Jared and what he's done in the last 3 years.
Well, can we get someone to clarify for us?
Well, that's
before
what
we
I
do
was
that?
wondering is
Because
before, I don't, I can look at it, but speaking of transparency,
could we?
how is that position just going to be posted, or is it posted, without anybody knowing anything
Right.
about it?
And pulling
And then
out
you're
of-
supposed to just say, we need to fund it?
Right, pulling straight out of our fund,
Yeah.
that we're supposed to at least offer advice.
I'm not 100% sure that this is a new position either.
What's it called?
That's a
Outdoor
massive salary for a
recreation.
coordinator.
That's the
Coordinator.
city administrator's salary. Literally.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's it called?
Outdoor recreation coordinator.
And that's that's 110 right there.
Surely
That's
there's.
as much as the city manager.
That's,
gets.
yeah, that's
surely
not
there's-
it.
City
there's
manager
other
gets
things
130.
In that.
Wait, do you have Miss Cheryl?
Because that would be
You
almost
guys are
right.
gonna come upstairs.
I don't have it.
Yeah, that's not a coordinator salary.
No, that's like a director.
Yeah.
An executive director salary.
Mhm. Let's see if we have anything listed on the site.
Since this stuff is why people get mad at us,
Yep. 100%.
You know, and it's been, you know, it's happened for 2 years at least. And, it's happening again, even though he has to start over. And
Yeah, they don't show up to take it from us, they just take it.
Yeah.
We're lucky if we can find out about it.
Yeah.
So,
Until it's gone.
Advisory things kind
so
Yeah.
Ashley, can we just like pause that discussion until, did you text her, cause I don't have the number?
I don't have her number.
Okay, I can run and.
we could yell, she'd probably hear.
I don't know where her office is, but I can find it.
Next to the
She might be
elevator.
still up here.
Not currently listed.
Here, giggling.
You want me to go down and get her?
Sure.
somebody in here.
Talk to her.
She might be.
There's like
So
three
we're
ladies
regular
that I
budget
didn't
for sure.
recognize in there.
I'll be right back. She's on the first floor.
Yeah.
I thought that would quit when.
Yeah, I need her number.
I mean, I think that that's a fair question, as, you know, you guys are charged with accountability of
She
it.
didn't really have much time to give me many details. We didn't get to meet, so I don't know anything. She just said, I have this, and this. While we wait.
And to be clear, Main Street, I'll speak for Main Street, does not care where we're placed, as long as we're placed somewhere.
Yeah, no, and I
Because that's
mean,
just gonna be beneficial to
Totally.
everybody.
my
Actually,
first
I
thought
think
was
that's-
like, we can do better than 12, you know, go to 2025 and take it out of the quality of life, line item.
You said it's already spent then?
Right, that would then, I mean, we would not be able to accomplish any real projects at all
No.
out of that fund. Which is something I was recently chatting with, Aaron Williamson about, he just came through the shop, and I was like, hey, remember when I came to council and gave you 3 projects to use that money on? And so he was curious about following up on that as well.
So what happened to that budget from this year that they didn't use?
It's a great question, yeah,
Any monies
Because I get
that
asked that a
aren't,
lot.
yeah.
And I don't
any
have an answer.
monies that aren't used in our budget go into the reserve fund.
But we understand there's not a reserve, right?
But yeah, I think
There
the question
there's
is,
still reserved.
did the city take that money and spend it elsewhere? Because that seems fairly likely.
Extremely.
And it could, there's possibility it was spent on something worthy, who knows?
But is that transparency or like?
Right, yeah. And people are gonna be definitely keeping a closer eye with the tax increase.
Mhm.
We need to know where the money's going.
I mean, if they wanna spend it, we don't have any choice, that's fine, but let us know.
Mhm.
Nothing else, communicate, so we can answer questions.
It's easier not to though.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we
they
make
just,
it not so easy.
they don't get excited about it, for sure. It's got some made a quesadilla from Macaroons.
You know, they can still hear you.
Yeah,
Okay. You're whispering.
it was delicious.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to leave early. I was planning on dialing in. I gotta check in guests at 4.
I'll keep looking. Her door's open, but she's not in there.
Okay.
Also, same, I apologize, I have to set up for the trolley. Today's the first night of the holiday.
Cool.
light
Oh,
contest.
nice.
Alright,
Where'd they
so,
go?
To all of the homes that signed up to be part of the holiday light contest.
Oh, neat.
they
I heard
vote.
1919 Pinion is amazing, that everybody should vote for them.
Yes.
Man, I just don't, I
So,
don't think that a coordinator is gonna bring the same value as actually spending that on
And
It's
why
gotta
are
be
you,
for more than
actual
coordinator.
projects.
why is it coming out of the bed tax?
so
They
let's
pay
say
coordinators like
that
$30,000.
this is not going to get, they wanted, this by tomorrow. Which is why it's
Then
on
you
the
should have showed up.
agenda today. But I did not know about those 2 line items previous to like right when I got here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she just came
Mhm.
in and talked to me about it.
Yeah.
What the
Literally,
fuck?
right here.
Just came in and was like, hey, we did some general fund, we have to balance it out, this line item and this line item now go under you guys. So it didn't sound like it was a new position when
So
she
you don't
was
have to
talking
move on
me
that,
about it.
correct? You don't have to make a motion for that one, but like that one could stay apart? Or does this have to be like all together?
All in
They're
Yeah,
just
the whole
not gonna get it
budget has to go
tomorrow.
together.
Okay,
They're just not gonna get it tomorrow.
well, we meet again next week.
We do meet again next week. if we can arrange for them to be here.
Okay.
That would be great. That would be Miss Cheryl, I think, it would be the one to answer questions
Yep.
about it.
I will let her know that she needs to be here.
Okay.
Please and thank you.
So, yeah, I did put the Main Street Board under the Arts and Cultural Events, Programs and Facilities, and that was just because in my head, there are facilities and events on Main Street.
Yeah, if we could move it to the other one, that would leave us some more festival funding.
Yeah, the festival funding is gonna go really, really fast.
Yeah,
But it clearly makes sense to leave the advisory commission under that.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with the amount they're requesting.
She's in a meeting somewhere in the building.
oh, no worries, we'll have to wait till next week, Tom, thank
Okay.
you.
So Joe, you're saying to move Main Street to the quality of living? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
and
Okay.
that's
Maintenance,
not
improvement,
exactly how they're
development.
broken down on this proposed budget, but I want to check just like what the ordinance says, and it is that 30%. Here, I'll pull it back up again just to read it to everybody.
So that would move to the, same line item as Santa Fe Trail Days and Trails and Recreational Development. That would leave 37,000 after that if we include the two new line items.
Yeah.
The festivals, the, event funding awarded via qualifying application, that would then have $63,000 in it for the year of 2025. After the Arts and Culture Advisory Commission budget.
Could we also ask what happened with the budget from the trails and things last year? What it was spent on and if there is a surplus currently?
Yeah, that was, I think,
On that,
Originally
like,
budgeted
maintenance
100
improvement line item?
Yeah,
Oh,
because last year Joe gave
140,000.
suggestions and they didn't do anything with it, but I'd like to know if it was spent, on what, and if there's a surplus currently.
Yes, I will, and then if I don't hear back, we can ask her in person next
Okay.
week.
Thank you.
And then the last one was just the miscellaneous portion, 5%. That didn't really change, except it went from 40,000 to 37,000. And then at the end, after taking out all those line items, we're left with 26,250 on miscellaneous stuff. That's just going through that. Keep that in mind, guys. If you have any questions, look at it. I'll go and update it. Write down your questions and we will ask Ms. Cheryl next meeting about all of that. So I thought we were gonna vote on something, but we did not vote on anything. But that's okay. Anybody else have anything for the budget revision?
I might have missed this when you were running down it, but, so under marketing,
Mhm.
TBD, got a huge chunk.
Yeah.
Are we just kinda leaving that? And we're gonna discuss that with DIQ, right? To
That's
say, yeah,
the
how-
actual marketing budget that we would have for the year.
Mhm, right, so ad buys, et cetera.
Yes.
So if we wanna get nitty gritty with that, we'll do it in conjunction with the agency.
They would be the ones that would kinda guide our budgetary. So they would come to us with like their proposal.
Sure, but we can,
Yeah.
Was it 100 last year or was it 200?
Well, we had 150 and
150,
then
okay.
minus what they took and then they just used the rest to make the budget for the year.
Okay.
This time, we did what they have and then we're taking some stuff first and then what's left they can use for the budget.
Okay.
I do have alpha maps on there. I have not got with anyone about alpha maps,
Okay.
but we should be able to get it back.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
I think Tara might be the one for alpha maps.
Yeah, she is.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else on budget items?
thanks for working on that.
Yeah.
No worries, no worries, thank you. It was a learning process for sure.
Every day we meet, it's a learning process.
Miscellaneous from board members? Anybody have anything? No?
I'll just say that we're finally open as a hotel.
Yeah.
Hotel guests, getting to see feedback from people. Feedback's been really good so far.
Can you smoke weed in your rooms?
No.
They got back patio.
That's a
I'll go to
state thing.
Trails Inn then.
I don't know what you're talking about, absolutely not.
Um,
But we've actually got a surprising amount of Amtrak visitors, which I didn't even think about at all. It's an afterthought, but like maybe like 15% of people. So
Nice.
maybe that's somewhere we can think about putting some energy towards. Because
Absolutely.
the train comes every day and people get off it. I didn't really think many of them stayed, but we've seen enough in the short amount of time to know that that's not
They
the
could
case.
just stay
They
24
definitely-
hours.
It is,
Next
it's
day.
24 hours. I mean, we had some people from Kansas that came here as Trinidad as the destination. The ride's the destination really, you know, but they ended here and went right back to Kansas.
Yeah.
They were
Kind
from
of shocking.
Kansas, so.
that's, I mean, that sounds like.
Still, that's pretty far.
How long did it
just come
take
here.
them, just out of curiosity?
10
Yeah,
plus hours?
I rode to Kansas City last summer and it was right around 10 hours.
Isn't
How long does it take to
amazing?
drive?
I'm so pleased.
I mean, a little less, yeah. The train is a little longer because of all the stops.
Cause all the
You
stops,
get
but
to
it's like a
wait.
fun thing,
And you
fun
can,
journey.
you don't have to drive or think, you can just get up and move around.
Yeah, people say very nice things about Trinidad, so that's nice to hear.
You know that,
From an outside perspective, and I look forward to seeing the summer guests.
yeah, congrats.
We opened and it was the slow season.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving was pretty good, but it's the in-between times when people aren't moving.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Amtrak is an interesting thing to think about. I know that at various times people have talked about our sad lack of a station. And so improving that whole area, connecting it to downtown, I think is something that the city should
I
be
feel like
looking
there was
at.
something in motion for that, and it was coming from CDOT, like the Chiminos proposed it.
Yeah, I don't know what the status is.
Yeah, but it was a CDOT thing, so
But at a minimum, we're talking about wayfinding signage and in
yeah,
conjunction with Main Street here.
for sure.
You know, that's an area that could really use that type of thing, so.
Yes.
Yeah, because it arrives in the morning, which sometimes turns into the evening, and then leaves in the evening. And I think a fair amount of people just pop into town for the day and mess around. So send them to where the tax dollars can be made.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Thanks. Anybody else have anything? No? Joe moved.
Yeah,
Congratulations to you as well,
thanks.
neighbor.
Yep,
That's right.
right across the street.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So that's where it's at.
Cool. Nothing else? Me either. I don't have anything. Next agenda, Joe did send me an email with some items that I will be including on the next agenda. Is there anything additional? Let's see what we say. We're going to talk about the budget again.
Decision matrix.
Man, that's gonna stress.
Let me pull up Joe's email so I can see what I already have. Joe
What did I
Confluence.
send you? I don't even remember that.
Work session and next agenda.
Oh, yeah, from last.
I did that one today. Budget updates and Vista Works renewal, Winterfest Projection Fest, Decision Matrix Test Run, review goals, and update documents.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of that today. I think the only thing not on here is the decision matrix, which was sent out, so I mean, we could plug that in as miscellaneous if we wanted to.
For the work session?
Oh yeah, this is for 12/12.
Yeah.
Is that for the work session? The food?
Yes. She said, they said to get food.
Awesome.
I said, go for it.
I have something I'd like to add.
Okay, what you got?
So right before Steve left, and he sent us all the email of how the tourism manager position is going to be changed. We're going to be bringing in a new person. Marty would be moving to welcome center manager. Well, we just had that budget double pretty much. So I'd like to engage that conversation of bringing in tourism manager, as you know, he sent out and said that was the plan, because I don't think any wheels have been put in motion on that, and we have a budget that I think that could be reasonable now.
Yeah, I think she's still considered director.
Tourism
of tourism.
director.
Oh, she is.
Yeah. Shouldn't she be with us?
Which is kinda odd since we never see or hear from her anymore.
Let's see.
So based on our,
Let's see it.
based on the work session stuff we have, you, for the next agenda, you could take off the, oh no, actually no, never mind.
Okay.
So you can take off goals and updates, but we're going to talk about them today, maybe get them started, and then we're gonna review them next week. So like have an actual document to look at.
Cool. All right. That was you said tourism manager.
That kind of goes hand in hand with the other role discussion and just,
Just like role clarity and general.
yeah.
All right. Anything else for next agenda? No? All right, that concludes our regular meeting. We can just go into.
It's your bang bang.
Oh.
Will we also have TIQ updates on the next agenda? First meeting, first regular?
Yes, that one's always on our first meeting.
So now there's a working session?
Yes, it's a work session on discussions of transparency, updates. We want to try to get a LTAB page on the city website. We're going to talk about our goals from the past and set new goals for 2025 or discuss the ones we've already set. Develop updates and about us documents, and then we can go.
Yeah, so I mean, I see all these things as being related.
Yes.
Essentially just communications out to the public and ourselves, holding the board accountable, holding the city accountable. So, yeah, I don't know where we exactly want to start in on that, but I mean, the website is kind of the key, I think. It's the easiest place to just publish these things. So we can pretty easily pull together a presentation that basically has like, here's what we did last year, and here's what the board does generally.
Yes, definitely.
And then here are our goals. So, yeah, I don't know, where do we want to dive in? Goal review?
I'll just say I can probably stay for 30 minutes, so if there's more important topics to be covered, maybe we just do those first. So to hear, I'm just gonna have to run.
Some of this will come from the communications person for the city. So like they'll be the person that actually puts a page on the website about us. And any kind of transparency that we're gonna do on the website, we would send to them and they would publish it, correct? Am I
Yeah,
understanding
so
that
the way I
correctly?
did it for Main Street, because that was one of the 3 things that we needed to get fully accredited, right? So I asked the board like what you want it to look like. They just said, you look into it, send us what you want it to look like, a draft of your best thinking. And I created the content. I met with Victoria and she did it in about a week.
I would want it to look like that, so everything looks consistent.
Is that somewhere we should put like a budget of where it is? Because that's where most of the questions come in. If you want true transparency, that's it. But we have to get it. And then just update it monthly, so then we also have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause then I just send her updates whenever and I said,
Yeah.
I need this updated by,
Yeah, if
I
you go
usually give her a week
working
and then she does
document.
it. Yeah.
That would be perfect, and it goes right there, and I think that alleviates a lot of the frustration and questions that come to us, and we're like, well, we want the same thing, we want that
Right.
too. So if it's just online, I think that's about as true of transparency as you could do.
I figured that would solve that problem, right? We could say, oh, well, just go to this webpage right here and
Yeah.
you'll see. So it would, in my head, it has a budget. It has every time we vote to recommend money go somewhere, it's on there. We voted to recommend this go there.
Yeah.
The
We're gonna
only
put
thing
agenda
that-
and minutes there as
Minutes,
well.
absolutely.
minutes, yeah.
Or just link, those
Just
are already
link them.
going somewhere, so link
We could
over
link
there.
to
Yeah.
Tom's YouTube if they want to go watch
Yeah.
that.
I mean, it's all public record stuff, so
Yeah.
I think that's totally reasonable.
Everything they need in one spot, so we can say, here it is.
That would be good for us too.
Yes.
So I would say in terms of priorities, while Jason's here, maybe looking at our goals and setting next year's goals, in terms of concrete things, would be good to have your 2 cents on. Cause everything else is pretty straightforward, really, it's just like writing it up. So, I have our goals in the minutes. Word retreat. So for 2024, some of these we may need city intel on. We were looking for any positive percentage growth in revenues and visitor count. So that was our top line goal. We wanted a new city event. We were looking to secure 3 to 5 grants, targeting six-figure dollar totals, and then a new city staff position, maybe part-time, focused on tourism and marketing. Obviously that one didn't happen, kind of out of our control, but we're about to talk about it again in terms of that hiring. On the grants, we got 1, thanks to DIQ.
What was our
It's
goal?
not
How many?
6 figures, but we said 3 to 5. So
Sorry,
I feel like
when
we
you
got
say
more than
we,
one.
do you mean like just you guys, or like, what do you mean we?
yeah, grants that are focused towards our board's goals, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I think that's worth delving a little bit more into, because I think there's a lot of people writing, grants that focus on tourism, so I can look into that just to see what else came about.
Okay. Yeah, if anything else did, it never hit our desks. The only one we know about is the website.
I think that was the only one we applied to.
From the state, yeah. I mean, the grant funding is like a little less vital with
Are
the
we
lodging
sure?
tax increase.
I feel like there was another one. The
Did
marketing
anybody apply
manager-
to a grant? Cause I did not for
Like,
this work.
I feel like we were in the middle of one when they came on, weren't we?
Well, the one that Keely got us, right? That was in this past year, or was that 2 years ago?
That was this year. And
Yeah.
then,
And then the website grant. Didn't we get a grant?
Okay, so
to
it's
build the website?
2.
Was that 2?
I think we could also suggest more to DIQ to apply to. as
Yeah,
that's one of their line items, and I think that's the only one we asked them to, and they did.
Right.
And I thought they actively looked for them. Wasn't that part of their presentation?
No,
They
I
had a
think-
contract?
No.
I think that.
Well, that one maybe because it's gonna go to them.
Yeah, I think our board's responsibilities would be to be going out to identify these grants. You know, we don't need to be the ones who write it necessarily, unless no one else is gonna get it done. But
I'm not sure if we're able to write them, honestly.
yeah, I don't know either. But ideally, yeah, it gets completed by DIQ or city staff, but we should be like, hey, here's this grant, here's the deadline, here's why we want the money.
The amount of grants out there and things that we qualify, being in like a rural, lower income area, are significant. They're competitive, but they're out there.
New city event, don't think we really got that one either.
No, we,
Santa Fe Trail Days.
We got,
We
It was an
also
existing
wanted-
event.
Yeah.
It was-
It's a
No,
retail,
it
but-
became a city one this past year.
Well,
It
yeah.
was a chamber event last
city took it
year.
over.
So this was the first one, was
Yeah,
the
and
Santa Fe
we
Trail
would
Days.
like for.
We're gonna take
Winterfest
that
to
win,
come,
guys.
but-
When
Asterisk on it. We don't get many wins up here, so claim it if you
Was
can.
this, well, it was a grant that was given to my organization, I
Right,
just don't.
not city.
Right.
And then, we don't really know about revenue growth. We heard that what it was, Q2 was an increase.
So it sounds like if she reduced that budget to
Right.
740, then we did 370, and we were expecting 400. Right? Something like that?
Something like that.
Was 370 growth?
Yeah, it's like also year over
What was
year.
23?
Mhm.
Anyone remember? It was
I-
3 something, I think it's growth. Not as much as we projected, but I think we were projecting like
The official
25% growth,
planning
or like
session.
100,000 in growth.
We're officially.
We're in work session.
Were we that high? I thought we were at 12.
Don't get something.
I'm gonna get
I'm
some.
just trying to think from 23, I thought it was like maybe
We're in
300.
this trouble.
And we were
I'm just gonna
projecting,
go back.
C projected at 400, I don't think we made that.
Okay.
But I might be wrong, I'm not totally sure, but I feel like it was, we were projecting a big increase.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's something else we may be able to ask about if we're talking finances at the next meeting.
Yeah, that's something we should know. I
I
mean,
mean,
the
we should-
year's not over yet, so you can't really calculate it, but,
We need to get those reports quarterly.
yeah.
When the city has the numbers, we need to know them.
So they're probably projecting at 370, but we don't know,
Mhm.
because the quarter's not over yet.
Yeah, even if they could get us the quarterly results to date
Yeah,
through Q3, and they probably don't have Q3 yet, realistically. But maybe. And we don't have any visitor tracking.
Visitor tracking.
yeah, that's what Alpha Maps is for.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
so
on
we'll
the
have
budget
that
for
moving
next year.
forward. The only thing would be heads and beds, but that's gonna be reflected in the revenue, so it's really the same number. So kind of a mixed bag on, how we did on our goals.
We're making progress towards our goals.
Yeah, it's like around a 50% success rate there. So not the worst. I think those goals in general are correct. I mean, increase in revenue and visitor count, that's always gonna be number one. That's an evergreen thing right there for us.
Yes.
Here were our previous 2025 goals identified last year. A winter campaign, so try to see growth from December through March. December.
Main Street can help with that.
Exactly, well, I was
I
just
was
thinking, that's
gonna
exactly
say
what.
it too. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you know what though?
Like
Next
that's
year.
their goal as well, so just.
We're making winter content, so that's something.
Yeah, it would be cool, and I'm thinking about this already ahead towards next summer, but, you know, Pat, when he was here, was like, when I was on this board elsewhere, like, we already be planning for summer. And so thinking about a cohesive campaign that, you know, is not
Mhm.
just lazy crazy days, like, that was fine. It was something that we had out there, but yeah, like, how do we theme a campaign? And that kind of ties into what Krista was saying also, which is like, what is Trinidad? So, that's something
Yeah, we
we can.
should, that's what we should plan out with DIQ
Yeah,
and figure
work
it out
with
rather
DIQ.
than, you know, kind of just make it up as we go along.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
always, it's always so last minute.
But we need to get ahead of the game on that, so
Yeah.
we're already behind on doing anything for the winter that's themed or specific. Besides that, we had either a second city event or a signature event. So be thinking about some type of large scale event thing, and full-time city staff support. That also seems potentially unlikely, but we have the question mark of that tourism director role. So those were our previous 2025 goals. We want to talk today about setting concrete ones to hold ourselves to.
What is you?
I am creative Main Street facilitator. But I'm not a new role. Margie was in it before me. Mhm.
I thought you were.
He thought same thing you did.
I don't know what the difference is.
Maybe
because
something
The
I-
else.
tourism.
Oh, no. I'm the liaison. I don't do like the website and like all of that stuff.
I mean, the signature event idea, you know, I think Trinidad needs it.
Maybe some food.
How do we do it and where does the budget come from?
I really like the idea of collaborating with all of the other,
I was gonna bring that up.
because there's creative, just because I work with all of you, right? It's like you guys all overlap in some way, and it's like, but you guys can help each other so much. So I'm wondering about a goal around collaborating and leveraging other boards
We
in
are.
an effort
yeah.
towards doing a big
If we
event.
wanted to do something big like that, it's gonna have to be all hands on deck.
Mhm.
Everybody's
mean,
gonna have to bring it.
Well, we-
There's,
But
right now.
Krista's right, like, we don't know who we are.
And I just,
Yeah,
yeah, and I
it's
just started writing a grant for Main Street, but guess what, it needs matching, right, and it's for something big like that too, you know, and it's out there, it's just like, why can't it be all of you guys?
We are in a great position to be a connector because we hear from all these different boards and all of their plans. We have the opportunity when someone comes in to request for, you know, money for a festival or an idea, we have the opportunity to say, you need to go to Krista because they're already doing this. You need to go to Jared because they're wanting to do this. Is there a goal we can do around that that's measurable?
That's what the, come on, cheese, who wants some of your cheese? That's what the plan was with those meetings at the end of the month and the evening time,
Yeah.
so that we could invite people to come and see,
And
you know.
connect them and figure out
Yep, work with the other
the
boards.
synergies.
I mean, no, Ashley, yes, I love that, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be an additional meeting at night. It could be like one of us or even me, cause I go to like at least 3 of your meetings just to do like a report out as an agenda item, so that way everybody's aware of what's going on. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah.
You have attended Parks and Rec before?
You just want cheese.
Well, who doesn't?
Maybe we just make a
He's not
goal
unusual.
to have a meeting, a work session, or something about this signature event, and we all come with some ideas. Just try to see where we go from there.
Do we have funds for it though?
If we don't give any to anyone else.
Well, we're not gonna be the ones that execute it, right? We're just gonna
Well,
be,
that's what I'm worried about.
we're not in the event business, right?
That was that whole conversation 2 meetings ago,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
don't wanna be in the event.
don't have time to make events.
But if there's another,
Apparently the city puts on events now, so we'll just put it on there.
There's
But
their
like,
second event that we.
the Main Street Board is a city board. That could put it on, they just don't have. And they have to, they're kind of like between a rock and a hard space, because anytime they want to put one on, they have to go and beg for it, and then they're told no.
All right, Krista, you asked for it.
Pretzel? Would you like a pretzel? There you go.
No, he didn't like that.
No, he said,
Yick. Those olives, yes.
I mean, we have a stage now, that's the biggest cost. What we can do with that stage is a lot. I mean, it doesn't need to cost 75 grand to put on. Just bring it out for First Fridays and let local musicians play, and that would be a huge regional pull.
I do
You just do
really,
things pretty inexpensively once you have the stage.
I still think that there is potential with the trail days,
Cheese.
to grow and change that event a bit.
I think that should be our signature event.
Yeah, like that
I'm not
is,
gonna lie.
it has history to build on, keep it as a signature event, but make
Somebody's
it,
already organizing.
make it much bigger and better. I like what they did for the bicentennial one, when they had reenactors downtown.
I wanna see
You know,
the
really
titles
lean
stuff
into the
in
history
street.
side.
We should, I know it's gonna be hard for us to find out, no one tells us anything, but obviously we're gonna do Santa Fe Trails again, we need to get a date, and then we start promoting it. So it's not 1 month before the event and they announce it.
Fair.
We need to promote it in Denver.
Mhm.
Oh, for sure.
Have you guys seen that new quarterly magazine that's been out? Like all over downtown. I forgot the name, and I've got a stack of them in my office. Beautiful magazine. And it's specific to this region, northeastern New Mexico and the Trinidad area, and they showcase by quarter different towns and the events they're doing in each of the towns. So I'm like, oh, I didn't know Red River did that. I wanna go to Red River in August to do their barbecue festival, so like having that in there would be great.
There's no beer.
I heard about that request.
What?
And she wanted beer. You can't drink up here, man.
Oh. Dang it.
In my office, you can.
What you got?
In my office, you can.
Mm-hmm.
We should have the meetings there.
That would be a lot easier on me.
Yeah. Yeah, Santa Fe Trail Days already has such a big place in people's hearts in this area. I think there's a lot of potential there to make it bigger.
Has there been any word about, go away? Didn't burn.
It needs some more soul.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it needs to be something that's beyond just like a small town summer festival. We want it to be a tourism draw.
Has there been any, further word or anything on 420 Fest again?
Actually, Easter this year.
No,
I have not heard.
Oh, that's
anything.
it's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen?
They
I
won't
just
talk
hope
to me.
Easter is on 420, which
Well,
I think is fine.
it's too bad because that is something
They
that
won't talk
interests
to me.
a whole lot of people, just the uniqueness of it, and to have it here and pull from all the states that are now all getting high, and
It made them angry.
I don't know. It is a reason for the
It's
season.
a tough time of year for an outdoor event. You can almost guarantee the weather's gonna suck. April is my least favorite month here.
When?
April,
Oh,
because it's just so windy,
yeah.
and you think it's getting warmer, but it's somehow like worse than like March.
Rains.
Rain.
So, here's what I've done so far. Keeping revenue and visitor growth. Subnote, implementing alpha maps, so we have visitor intel. Signature event, grow and improve Santa Fe Trail Days, so kind of generic there for now.
Once we get alpha maps, I think we can go retroactively on there. So we could kind of see
Oh, cool.
if we did, don't quote me on it, but I think so. I think we can go retroactive and see if maybe we had some of these goals that we just didn't have the day before.
And then I just put a like cohesive plans marketing campaign. We're probably looking at late spring into summer for that. Is there anything else we
Kind
want
of
to have on
bouncing around,
goals?
but I really liked Krista's idea, and this is something I've thought of before, of developing the lights parade into a full-blown
Mm-hmm.
Christmas event. Like I could see doing a Christmas market at Sebastian Gym, or, you know, something that we can add to it to make it an all-day thing, because right now it's just a few floats with some lights.
Even at the Space to Create, there's so much room in there for vendors.
Oh, yeah.
Do we think we could pull off the, like, was it cajoling or whatever? It's what they do in Leadville, but it's like, it's where they take the horses.
Oh.
I don't think I'd do
Snow.
anything that's too reliant on snow here.
But you can make your own snow. Other places do it too, and they make their own snow for it. You don't need that much snow. It's a
Yeah.
pretty short run. But
You have to have specific weather conditions in order to make your own snow, because Kachara has their own snowmaker.
sure.
But when we wanted to get it for that Friday for Winterfest, and the weather conditions, it has to be just perfect to do it.
just think something
Seems
like
weird.
that that's like unique and special, funky.
I know coming from Georgetown, they have a huge, their draw is their Christmas market.
Yeah, Chris Kindle Market.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and it got so big 2 years ago that now they have like 2 standalone heated tents with more vendors and more food, just because the downtown couldn't sustain how many people came. And it was just 10 to 4 because it gets so cold and dark. But then, they didn't have a Christmas parade, and how cool would it be like to have a Christmas parade after, right?
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah, I do really like the just classic Chris Kindle market type of thing, because I've seen people lately posting like, are there craft fairs this weekend? Like, people seem to really love just going and buying like random tchotchkes, and then you can also have, you know, a beer garden with music, some food vendors, and if neighboring towns don't have anything like that going on, people will travel for a
Yeah.
fun weekend.
They go all the way up to Georgetown.
The people who do those craft markets come from 2-3 states over, so it has to be at a weekend that they don't have anything already on their schedule. And if we're gonna have a new Kris Kringle market, it needs to be proven before they
And you
will
all
add
wouldn't
on
need to
their
plan
schedule.
it because Main Street already, it's one of their goals.
It's one of their goals.
It's
You
one of
mean
their
they-
goals.
One of their goals, I thought. They didn't have anybody plan, it's one of their
Yo,
goals.
there's
I say we let Main Street plan everything.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. They're
We're
okay with that.
supposed
They just
to.
need the money to
We
plan,
just,
right?
yeah. We'll give them money and tie it together with other efforts. That's what our,
all right. Any other goals for 25?
I mean, my biggest goal for this year, I'm not sure if we hit or not, but it was to become more known for as a biking destination. I think that's the lowest hanging fruit. I think that's already what we're best at currently for like real tourism. Like, not like I'm driving on the highway and I'm gonna pull over and crash, which is a lot of it. But people that are coming here on purpose to do an activity, that's it. Like, that's what we're getting the most people here, and how can we expand upon that? We made some like small steps, but what else can we do?
Well, you know, semi-relatedly, data-wise, what we've heard from DIQ is that Trinidad Lake is the top of the list.
Yeah.
So the outdoor rec has a base to build on moving forward. I'm sure that's just partially because, you know, Texans already know about it. They're searching for Trinidad.
It's had the most search traffic historically.
It's the only place to camp, anywhere nearby. And so if you're coming through on I-25, you don't want to get a hotel. I think we confirmed that they're paying lodging, right, out of the lake. Does that hit the lodging fund?
Where at
The state park.
campsites?
campground?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Good question.
I don't think it
I'm just not certain if it's not, maybe not in city limits.
is. I don't think it is.
Yeah. So that may not increase our lodging base necessarily, but it's apparently a popular destination. So we're leaning into the lake, marketing that more. Swimming is allowed there now. I wonder if we can get any traction on a swim beach straight up with the state park. So that those are kind of avenues we could explore to just keep building on that too. So biking, yeah, we can keep doing more there also.
I love all those ideas and the low-hanging fruit, but it's kind of what Krista said. Some people think we're this, some people think we're this. We're currently without an identity, so are we an art town? Yeah, maybe we're an art town. Are we a biking town? Yeah, maybe we're a biking town. Are we all about architecture? Yes, no matter what direction we go in, people are gonna go, well, I don't believe that's true. Is there any, like, can DIQ do any kind of research to find where the best niche would be for us? So again,
Town
that's
for all
defensible.
seasons.
If we went out and said, well, we've discovered that we are an out town, based on all of this research, that would gain us the most
Yeah,
traction.
totally. You can do it off the search traffic.
I'm gonna
People-
push
people are
back on
searching
that
for.
whole
Okay.
concept.
Why?
Because other towns don't put all their eggs in one basket either.
Well,
Like,
no.
and say like, this is our single thing. And I don't even think that's a perception. Like, you look at like Grand Junction, it's like some people go there for wine country, some people go
Right.
there to mountain bike.
But they've had a runway to get that popularity.
They have, but-
We don't have anything that we've picked a runway for to try and get there, you know what I mean?
So I actually, well, I don't know about the Keep Trinidad Rad one. I'm sure you guys have seen those bumper stickers, and that's like rare, artistic, diverse, and I don't know who came up with that. But there's something like, what I keep going back to is like this kind of gritty authenticity type of thing, because it's not Disney-fied yet. We are not like a super built up Colorado town, but we have the authentic history. We have real, actual living artists who are here like working and
Proud to
living.
not be veiled, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a thing that you can really lean into, where it's like
It's a good thing.
like dirtbag
Billionaires
Colorado.
don't live
It's
here,
not
you know?
true.
live here.
I totally.
There's our marketing
Coming from
campaign.
Georgetown, they're an entire historically designated town because they didn't want to be Breck.
Mhm.
They didn't want to be Vail. But what is so special and what I love about Trinidad even more, don't tell them I said that, is that this town can sustain tourism. When you get too small and too historically designated, you don't have any place for people to stay or any, you can't. You just can't have the Rat Fest over there where you can have it here. So I think that it's kind of like the best of both worlds, is that it is authentic and it is historic and it is authentic at every level, but it's also got options for everyone. It has options for everything. I think that's the draw.
Yeah, and I mean, there's like a excuse me, aspect of discovery involved, I think, right, where it still feels like a little bit of a secret.
Yeah, people love that,
Yeah, and it's like,
to find a place.
even over the time I've lived here, like, the more you kind of put yourself out and explore, you find like these layers where you're like, oh, this place keeps getting cooler. And it's, to some extent, everywhere is like that, I guess, as you get to know it.
It ain't all on TripAdvisor, you
Right.
know?
So I realize that doesn't give us like a single thing necessarily to promote, but I think it's a theme that you can lean into. So just
That's like how I describe it, you know, honestly, so.
Well, again,
I like that. And it goes against the grain of other places, you know, and it'll resonate with some people more.
And that's something that, hopefully we can brainstorm with DIQ on, and then they're the ones who are like,
Well,
here's the
You can
tagline.
package it,
Yeah.
yeah.
You go to it, it's a town for all seasons, it's, if you're looking for it, we got it, that kind of thing, it's, we're,
We have 40,000 to go for a website, and we kind of don't need it now, honestly. We got to something respectable, but maybe we could use some of that towards branding. Projects related to the website, we'll see, how far we can stray off of that for the grant, but
Yeah, I'm not sure what the grant requirements would be.
it could get better for sure, but it went from just being awful to,
Well, our expenses also, we have the expense slush, that doesn't all need to be ad buys, that's like kind of a lot in terms of just marketing, advertising, if you're like, spend this on some print ads, and social media ads, like 200 grand, we could definitely take 50K and throw it at a branding project. So, I mean, is that gonna be, are we gonna highlight that as a goal, where it's like,
identify our brand.
Trinidad brand, I guarantee.
It's been talked about forever, but there's never been action really taken on it.
Yeah, it
It's
started.
just, you just argue in Facebook groups.
it started with the old board talking about it some, and then, this board for,
Yeah, I would imagine every iteration of this board has had this exact discussion. And I think some things have emerged, like the current Visit Trinidad logo clearly came out of a branding exercise, and they had a whole thing to go with that. And I think that was leaning more into the arts side. I don't know if they really had a tagline or not. I also still really like, someone said at some point in the past they used "The Way Out West" as a tagline, and I think that is cash money. I think it is so good because it has multiple meanings, where it like ties into the Santa Fe Trail history, where it's like, this is the way. Currently, come up I-25, it's your way into the West. It also is kind of like, oh, we're way out there, which could be remoteness. It could also be like kookiness.
Does it matter that we have a business in town called Way Out West?
We probably have to talk to
Sure,
them
they
about
will.
it.
shop?
Right.
You're not gonna say no.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody said the city was actually using that at one point. I've never seen any materials with it. But I think that's a nice tagline that works really well, so it's something we could revisit potentially, instead of
There's
just.
a lot of tourism to the state for people who go and look for that. And there's a lot of Europeans, like they definitely talked about that at the conference. There's a huge amount of Europeans that come looking for Western towns.
Huh.
I don't think we see too many of them
Don't
here,
go to
but
Texas.
Yeah, I
lot
think
of
the
them
art,
Germany.
architecture, the history, the outdoor recreation even
Doc
can
Holliday
all
was
tie
here.
into being the
pub.
Wild
Wider.
West.
for sure, absolutely.
Red Masterson, all of that.
People love that stuff.
Oddly enough, one of the one of the highest rated types of adventures that in Germany was Western and Texas and New Mexico, and I'm sure Colorado's in there.
Germany's by far our highest foreign country visitor.
Really?
The year I went
Times
to,
like 5.
the
We're the
GovCon
wealthiest
in
country in
Manhattan.
Europe, and then get 4 weeks of vacation a year, so it
Must
makes
spread
sense.
and
They are the wealthiest?
But they like to
Everybody.
Per
go,
capita, yeah, for sure.
the guy I talked to, he's actually was German, but he's now in the US. He said that they don't wanna see other
You're still
tourists.
Yeah.
They wanna go out to the,
Authentic.
yeah, they wanna go work on a ranch. They wanna do cowboy
What's the word for 'em?
things.
Good things to highlight, you know,
Yeah.
for
Well,
trails, biking, you know,
I
get
would
away from the
also-
crowds.
I think I would like to set a goal to kind of, I don't know if it's allowed. I'll lean on you, Veronica, to tell us if it's allowed. I think we ought to set up something with the Chamber of Commerce and discuss things that we need to be able to promote. For example, there's this thing where you could do packages. You could advertise packages. So we'd need a hotel and we'd need something to do. Derbyshire was on the internet saying she did this class. It was like a sound meditation class or something that people came down from Denver to do.
Oh, cool.
So if we could get our local business partners to set up, get together, hotels and spas, and come together and set up a class and advertise it as a package. You come in, your hotel room's included, the class is included, maybe throw in some food somewhere.
I see that, I don't know why it wouldn't be allowed, I see that as the goal of collaboration,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
and that's just like how to measure it, I guess.
That'll work.
We talked about this before, but pretty common for local tourism groups. Also, see you, Jason. Nice to have you in the room this week.
Yeah.
Congrats.
I'm usually
on-
here, I'm just at
Over there.
work, because this time's really bad for me.
Yeah, it's tough. Giveaways that basically are one of those packages. So I've won 2 of those. One for Carbondale, so that would be relevant, kind of comparable town size. The other one was Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And so it was like experiences, so like kayak rentals, e-bike rentals, a hotel stay, a meal or 2, maybe a gift card to another place to shop.
that's
Like
awesome.
Fisher's Peak Outfitters.
Interesting.
So it can be pretty stacked. We could probably fund it as a tourism promotion. So we could say, oh, you don't need to donate this from your business, but maybe give us a little bit of a deal or something. So we could like buy all that stuff, package it up. It's a really easy way to build a mailing list.
For sure.
That's
We'll sign up.
fantastic.
And then
So-
also just increase knowledge of the area too, while you're signing up. If you
Right.
don't know a lot about Trinidad, you're then gonna go on our website and check it out,
Exactly.
even if you don't win, so
Mhm.
love that idea.
So
Gotta
I
go,
think
guys. Bye.
that could
See
be
you later, Jason.
a work in tandem with our branding exercise, with the planned marketing campaign. We could do that as a component of all of that. But that also requires some of that collaboration that you were just talking about.
I don't mind.
I
I
love
think
that.
the
I
collaboration,
think
the
that's
goal
awesome.
and the metric is, so how do we know if we met it or
Exactly.
And actually, I feel like that
Drop-out events.
distinguishes us as a group.
not? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to be able to put, I love that.
That should be relatively easy. I would think businesses would jump at it, even if they're giving us a little bit of a discount, because they're getting exposure. You know, we're gonna be out pushing it as part of our advertising. So I don't know if there's anything we need to worry about in terms of fairness, you know? Like, we probably need to solicit people to raise their hand, say like, we need a hotel, contact us if you wanna be at a hotel, and then choose from those people somehow.
That could be the topic from our next, business partner gathering.
Yeah, something we need to keep in mind is like being fair in our promotions. I've been thinking about that with our social media. That gal who's been coming down. I mean, she's spotlights various people, but she's already returned to several of them. So I just want to make sure that she's covering everybody fairly, and not just like the trendiest place. but that's not strictly related to goals. We have kind of a decent list going. I don't wanna overextend us
Yeah.
goal-wise, like we wanna be focused and attainable with
We
these.
need 1 to 2 wildly important goals.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost don't count the revenue visitor growth because everything else we do
Feeds.
is feeding that.
Our goals should be attainable, measurable, and something that we can influence. Pull
So,
out Franklin Covey.
yeah.
Smart goals.
So from the top, we got revenue visitor growth. Under that, implementing alpha maps, so we have visitor intel. Signature events, we're focusing on growing and improving Santa Fe Trail Days. A cohesive marketing campaign, talking about package deals or giveaway, relatedly, branding exercise, tagline, potentially logo revision, whole identity package. And then Christmas events / market. I'm gonna lump that under events, so signature events. And then collaboration with other boards and the
Which
chamber.
you could also lump under that too.
Yeah, but that'll be related to everything.
Yeah,
we do.
that's true.
Yeah, not only the events or even only the giveaway, with that
Maybe
set
everything.
constant, yeah. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Do we need to put any specific numbers, like, we're looking for a 3% growth rate or anything like that?
Let's take a look at what we did grow, if we had growth, and then go from there.
Sure.
See what we did, and then see if we wanna do the same
And
amount of
alpha
growth.
maps data would be
Maybe go
really
up.
helpful.
Yeah, I think we have to wait till the budget actually goes into effect to do that, but as soon as it does.
So, a question relating back to actually the regular session, when do we vote on or do something for Main Street?
Next week,
Yeah, it's gotta
So
go to
that-
the next
That's
one.
on the agenda.
because it's in the budget, we had questions on the budget about the other line items that she added. So
We can't
need,
approve one thing without
to
everything.
ask Miss Cheryl, she'll come talk to us. If not Miss Cheryl, anybody who can come.
Anyone. And please.
I hate to ask Mike, but you know,
And
if
if
he
he's
can
around,
do it,
I'll pull
that'd be
him.
great. Just anybody who has more information on what that actually is.
Sounds good.
But yeah, we'll do that next week. They wanted it for tomorrow, but
Well, I just wanted to make sure,
We
that's the
don't
reason
have
I
enough
asked her about
information.
deadline, so.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great if we knew before January, because then the
Well-
state Main Street people come, and then we can actually get accredited, which would be great.
I may,
Unless,
I'm not speaking for everyone, but my assumption is it's gonna happen, so.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna not do that.
Okay, that's.
Well, they're too good a partner,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
They do a lot.
they
They'll
go
do-
hand in hand with a lot of what we wanna do,
Yeah,
plus we
absolutely.
pawn off a lot of stuff on them, so.
Yeah, and they're really good at event coordinating
Mhm.
over there. I'm not an event coordinator.
Just to kind of pull us back to our work session agenda, so we have our goals identified for 25.
Okay.
The last thing I was gonna volunteer to at least type up, kind of the about us summary, our updates over the past year. So I wanted to just run through with you guys, what did we do in 24? I mean, we have all the minutes to pull from, but I wanna make sure I don't miss any of the heavy hitting stuff. So, you know, big obvious one is onboarding DIQ and getting them up and going. There's nuts and bolts underneath that I can blow out,
Yeah.
but we have an agency who's out doing stuff, so that's a big one. What else have we got from 24?
You got me.
The tax is huge, right? The
Yeah,
tax
the-
increase.
Well, that happened, I mean, it's worth mentioning, but we're not
Well,
responsible.
I know, but you just take credit.
No, we're not allowed to.
That's
okay.
I like where you're going.
Yeah, no, we,
But I mean, it did pass, and so that's a good thing.
mm,
What about the Santa Fe Trail Days? That was a city event, I know, but like,
well, we should list, so I have done a little bit of this actually for promoting the lodging tax increase on that citizens committee. tried to start pulling together like, well, what have these funds been spent on
Right.
historically? So I think that we should list out all the events that we supported,
Make
because
sure that's on
citizens
there.
go to those and they love many of them. I still have, the
I gotta
website
go.
is still up.
Oh, you are?
Could go back to the theater.
So we
Yes.
had
You're on my schedule.
the A.R.
But not
Mitchell
till next
Museum,
weekend.
Trinidad
Starts next
Triggers,
weekend.
Trinidad Art
What
Fest.
about those?
Oh,
We
fabulous.
provided funds to all of them.
Oh, that's great, okay.
Yeah, so we helped support and fund institutions and events including the Mitch, Triggers, the Art Festival, the Farmers Market, Santa Fe Trail Days.
You didn't know we were gonna feed you too, did you?
Nope. There are others too, so, yeah, highlighting those things.
I'm going.
We acquired that stage sound and lighting equipment. I think that's worth mentioning.
And that was used for
Should be
some of
here.
the.
Yes, and it can reduce
I'll
costs for
just
those
sit
events.
down.
It can also be leased out to third parties for events, so
Where
that
does
could
it
be a
live?
revenue. I believe it lives at Space to Create.
The big one or the smaller one?
I think the bigger one
Okay.
is what we purchased.
Yep, okay, that's awesome.
And then any AV equipment that goes with it.
Mhm.
Also the projectors that we
And
use for
lights and-
Winterfest.
Okay.
Alright, so list of events and institutions. Chris is gone. See you, Chris. Um, Alright, well, I mean, I can go through the minutes on other stuff. You guys have anything else you wanna throw in there?
Don't get too excited. Definitely list everything we know them anyway too. Can list the improvements on Space to Create in our new stage.
Oh, yeah, well, that's not us, but.
The
Yeah, yeah,
stages.
you guys
Oh,
did.
Oh, yes.
The projectors, definitely. I didn't think,
We-
did the stage, yeah, the stage and stuff came out of our budget, didn't it?
Yeah.
Stage, AV, and projectors.
It's really nice.
That'll be good for conventions and such.
Being part of Destination Colorado. That's for meeting planners.
Was that this year?
Uh-huh. Surprised, I believe it was.
We had our mentorship till June.
Oh, yeah, what about those big meetings that we had, where they came and gave a presentation? What was that? Destination Blueprint?
Our program is Destination Blueprint. The workshops were Destination Stewardship. What was the other?
I thought there was just two. Was there another one?
I'm in care for Colorado too.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, and I'll blow out some of the stats that DIQ has shared in terms of just our growth on the digital front. That's all pretty positive stuff.
And then did you wanna send that to me and I'll set up a meeting with Victoria?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
It would be great to offload putting it
Yeah,
into a
I got
deck
it,
if you
yeah.
guys
Nope,
have the cycles for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I already have
appreciate
like a
that.
consistent meeting
Okay.
with her, so,
Cool.
for the other two boards.
Yeah,
It works
awesome.
out.
Yeah, if you guys are able to do
And then
that.
like to just, I'll just type up a,
I thought, damn, I have to come up with like a biography.
who
or
we
something?
are, little, what we do, little content, like nothing, just.
I can do that too, just type up a quick
Yeah, perfect.
paragraphs, yeah.
Yeah,
I kind of have that more or less ready from, when we had a stakeholders meeting over the summer.
perfect,
So that was like business owners chamber, like
okay.
people who are more.
And then I can dig up some images of said festivals, and she can put it on your page.
Okay, yeah, great.
I don't get that.
So as soon as I have that, I'll set up a meeting with her.
That's fine.
She's very amenable to meetings, so I appreciate that.
Cool.
Because everybody still
Um,
thinks that we, oh.
Yeah, if you guys have any follow-up questions or anything.
And
just
what I
let me know.
do, she takes it, then we meet again, if she has any questions, and then she says, okay, it's ready to go, and then I'll send it out to you guys,
It's some
for any-
big thing.
anything that you don't love,
This is
and
what
then we
did.
can make the final tweaks.
Am I wrong? Okay, I didn't feel
Sounds
like
great.
anybody felt the same way.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
There's just confusion.
It's been fun, I have my to-do, but I have to go, set up for the travel.
I think
Oh,
we're-
okay.
I mean, I
we're
get
wrapping
to.
up.
I get
I think
to
we're
go
done. I think,
Unless you have anything else?
we expected to stay here till 6, but
I didn't.
I was
Um,
not.
didn't.
I was told
I blocked
everybody
it on my
already.
calendar
I don't
until
plan to be
6.
here till 6.
I'll work on some updates.
And I'm sure little boy
I'll try and
didn't
get
want to be
you
here till
that,
6. Where's this
in the
big
next
piece of
few
cheese?
days.
That'd be great.
So maybe we can review
I
it
think I
next
have
week.
something on my calendar with her next week, but if not, that's fine, I can
Yeah.
just
Big
put
piece
something
of
else on.
pepper-fried cheese or something.
Call me Jamie.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you for the food.
Absolutely, I'm also sorry.
I'm gonna have to come in and see what you're wearing tomorrow.
Should we bring that downstairs or something?
Yeah, or take it home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So that's it? We're good?
Uh,
You guys
motion to adjourn, I guess.
Okay, in a second.
Motion to adjourn.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're
Little
good.
boy says aye.
Thank you, Tom, for your time.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad it's like